Hello to all the nerd faithful out there. This is Carnifex, Nerd the Nerd. This video, I want to apologize for only having put out a couple videos in the past few weeks. Between following the holidays, myself and the future Mrs. Nerd got sick for about a week each, and I probably gave mine to her, unfortunately. So definitely had to help, take care of her after that. So I'm sorry I haven't put out as much content as you are accustomed to me doing, and I'm definitely ready to get back into it, nose to the grindstone. So I know we're in kind of like a temporary lull period. We knew Ember was going to be coming back, so hopefully a lot of you were just kind of like working quietly in the background on that for those of you who plan on going after her. But we do have the Ember event confirmed, coming back, and I just have these 5 things in this, fairly quiet period for you guys to be working on. And there's a video that I'm going to be doing on each of these. It's kind of attached to that bullet point. So numero uno on the list is continue to build teams required for legendaries. Now, Ember was not a meta redefining toon. However, pandas are going to be required for a future legendary, and having used all the pandas, I can tell you that the DPS is not really there unless you have Ember. Ember's pretty crucial to that team for DPS reasons. So even if they aren't all redefining meta legendaries, they're definitely good characters to have for races, whether it's for future legendary unlocks, smaller things like tower side rooms, etc., so you can get a little more extra. Getting legendaries is guaranteed way to get a strong toon that's going to be crucial to their race. And you might even again, someone like Ember. She's great for gladiators, for scrolls, and I'll get down to that a little bit. But, wherever you're at, I would definitely say that Soleus is still the #1 legendary to be working on, both because orcs are a solid faction, not great in PvP, but they can be good for clearing campaign content and stuff like that for the newer players. I would so definitely prioritize Soleus at the top of your list. But if you're close enough to Ember, I was able to I put out a video where I was able to get essentially with a Gear 11 IDL, which I know that's a bit out of reach for some people still, but it's certainly not as hard of an event as the Soleus event because of the dispelling of NIDL. So I plan on doing a new Ember event video. I have done some testing already. Definitely doable at Gear 9 to get her all the way to 7 stars. Both the times it was easy. Definitely came with one of the newer characters, but I'll get more into that. Basically, if you have Wonder Lula or Phalia, yeah, it's going to be easier. And if you don't, it's going to be harder, but it's still possible. Right. So, second thing, focus on high-value event team characters. So we're going to do a tier list revisited video. We're not going to take the whole time to go over everyone on the tier list again because there are only a few changes that really occurred. We had kind of the top 5 gladiators team solidify, and Little Baddie got a large boost whenever she received the gladiator tag. And then we added Slinger. So there were a couple changes that happened with those things essentially. So we'll go over that, but mostly what we're going to do is go over for each of kind of the tags, right? Whether they be racial tags, profession tags, if they're a defender, etc. And we're going to revisit those just to try and show what's the way that we can create the most overlap possible with these quality characters. What best characters can I use across multiple areas of the game that are most important? So we're going to focus on kind of the top tier events for things like ability scrolls, speed runes, and then we're going to also pay attention to things like crit runes, and then we'll kind of hey, you know what, these are the other ones. But so focusing on those high priority characters. Third, we are going to knock out some tower completions. You really want to. I know tower sucks right now and is really stale, but it would benefit you to be working on getting your tower completions done for the immediate future until you hit that 150. I'm gonna do a new tower guide. You may, if you're all you OG nerds out there, will know that I put out. That was one of. That might have been. Was it the first video? I think it was the first video I ever did for Dragon Champions. But it's a bit dated now. Certainly a lot of the tactics still work, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend all the same characters. Definitely don't try and think you're gonna be riding out with orcs or anything, or even using them a few times. it's different now for people with more developed rosters. So I'm gonna go into it. Hey, I got a more developed roster now, and I'm facing some rough teams. So I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks, teams that I use, things that I do whenever I'm just really not feeling like doing tower that day, in order to try and expedite it. So and make it easier on myself to kind of clear it expeditiously. So fourth thing, hoard dem scrolls. Now, hoarding does not mean using none of them, and that's why we're going to do an ability rankings revisited. So again, for you mega nerds out there, you know that I put out a ability rankings list where basically on a scale of 1 to 5, I rated every single ability upgrade for every character in the game, and said basically, hey, yeah, this increase from like 3 to 4 is great. But honestly, you don't really need to boost it to like 5 or 6. You don't really get much out of that, or at least it's lower value. Or this character is like, man, if you're not going to boost it to at least ability 4 where it gets this big bump, yeah, you should basically not even hardly care about it. You should, right, invest in your gladiators enough in order to get as many scrolls as possible on those scroll events. You should be working on your core team if you haven't gotten to the point to where you have the daily challenge that comes around 3 times a week. If you haven't been able to max out that, you should invest scrolls into your team that you can use to do that. We're going to talk about who you want to use on that second video, right, on tier list revisited. But I'll break it down even further here. Hey, these are the characters you want to use, and here's the abilities that you want to upgrade and the levels to which you want to upgrade them in order to be able to conserve your scrolls, because you never know when, again, like they might really, hey, it's this character. Oh, crud, I'm close. And thankfully I've saved up some scrolls for that, because that is still the major. It's gold and scrolls. Gold for leveling and scrolls. Those are the two real limiting factors we have right now, especially them blue scrolls. So, fifth and final thing on the list is you want to farm shards. And I'm going to do a locations tier list. And by locations, I mean like arena shop, tower shop, things like that. What are your biggest priorities? And I'm going to even do gear, because some gear, they're just much better purchases from the shop than others for various reasons. And I'm going to that's going to include, hey, like, do I want to farm this gear in the guild shop because it shows up there? Do I want to get it in the shard shop? Do I want to farm it from nodes? Do I want to save up drat coins for it, use it that way? So we're going to go into all that stuff, but we're also going to go into character shards, and that's the main thing. Who's the first person you should be farming in the arena shop? Who's the first person you should be farming from the tower shop? And I'm sure there's probably another video or two out there regarding all that, but because trust me, whenever you get to the point where you're like, oh, I have all the characters from the tower shop, it's just like a sigh of relief in the arena, and I've knocked out all these 20 energy per attempt hard modes. And getting characters, at least for me, I've always tried to prioritize farming characters with energy, trying to use other things in order to farm gear, because generally it's kind of like either you're buying packs, right? They come around in a tournament for us, right? Or they're in a shop, or they're on a node. If they're not any of those things, if basically the only way you can get it is by spending premium currency, right, drat coins, or getting on a node, I'm going to go towards getting on a node every single time. So I'm going to give you guys, here's how I think you should be farming these nodes, and particularly the shards, but I will go into gear as well. So anyways, I have actually a little request for you guys. I am looking to kind of like boost the production quality of the account a little bit. You guys have put up with the jankness for a bit, and if any of you guys are good at creating graphics, I would love to just do a couple little overlay things. Reach out to me either on YouTube or on the Discord. I would appreciate anyone's help. I'm sure for someone with any recent usage and skills, it wouldn't be too extensive, but definitely love some help from the community there, because otherwise it's going to continue to look a little schmuckery-ish as I continue to try and spend hours to make something very pedestrian for the channel. So Anywho, that's all for today. Look forward to those future videos, and I'll see you nerds next time.